Ukaizo. We are actually going to Ukaizo. The tribes will look to me to bridge our past and our future. A heavy responsibility, I say. The praise they showered on Ngati's chosen. Until now, it all seemed an empty gesture. Never a promise that I could fulfill. I was the toast of Nekataka. But all of that is behind me. I must turn away from delights and think of the tribes. Ukaizo will show us the way. The tribes will find themselves again. I would discover what our ancestors forgot. The Covenant is more important than ever. I will give it thought. There is time enough for that, at least. Ukaizo should be the discovery of our lifetime. With the trading companies and the Principi ready to descend on each other, I wish the island had kept its secrets a while longer.
It pains me to see my boy so conflicted. Questions tear at his heart, and the ache reaches me even here. If you continue to encourage him, his life will grow more complicated. He will be the savior his people want. Someone to drag their past into the present. Empires have fallen since I favored the Huana with power and wisdom. How they wield it is their choice. Just see that my boy comes to no harm.
There is much to consider, and little time to decide our course. I fear that we will see the path before us before we are ready to walk it.
I say it is not every day that a ship pulls into port from Margaren's teeth. You are not too singed, I hope. Do not leave me in suspense, I say. Have you found Matario cozy?
Certainly.
But they're still out there. Will no one help me? Well now, if there were any woman here worthy of a grand reception, the guards here will not listen. Will you, ma'am? Myself? I am no lord save upon the deck of my ship. And she is lost. I lost my crew, all but myself and the bosun, yet nobody will listen. Not the Queen, nor the trading companies. Too busy waging war upon each other to pay mind to a rudderless captain. They don't understand. It's not just me. What lies out there, it'll swallow us all up if it isn't stopped. It were unnatural. The Antelope were a fine ship, and we sailed her out east, out of Kahanga waters and into the great wet country. Bright sky and a good wind. Until the fog came. We were boarded before we knew it. Men, things like men that howled like demons. They cut down half my crew, took the rest. Gods forgive me, but if I'd stayed to look on, I'd never have made it to the launch. But we saw it. After the fog cleared and the ship was gone, a spit of land, bristling with the wreckage of other unfortunates. A finer crew I'll not find than that which served upon the Antelope. All dragged into the fog, like the gods plucked them off the deck. I'll not forget it so long as I live. I am a landlocked wretch with no ship and no crew. But I have warned you fair. Keep you clear of that ship's graveyard, for it has made a ruin of a seasoned sailor. You have listened well. Here, go you now prepared. And should you ever come upon my crew, do what you can for them.
Miss our crew so terribly, I say.
of your time, Watcher, if you will. Some of the hands discovered an unusual crate in the ship's hold. Unfortunately, the ship lacks the defensive fortifications of Cadnua. A crate could have been slipped aboard at any of our ports of call, assuming it wasn't placed among our goods as we took on supplies. It is roughly a yard to a side and labeled beans. The hands who noticed it were tasked by the cook to bring up ingredients for the evening's stew. The hand left the crate in the hold if you wish to examine it. As you like.
You can see me! It's really you then, the captain of the Defiance. Oh, this is fantastic! How satisfying it is to know one did not give one's life in vain. I come from the island of Kazuwari, and we need your aid. Me, Muatu, formerly of the island of Kazuwari, presently of the Beyond. Kazuwari is an island where the most skillful hunters, the most hardened explorers, the deadliest warriors, all gather to earn Tuamawai's favor. But Humaire, the island's caretaker, says the essence that sustains the island has sickened. Curdled, she called it. The animals, the trees, they all churn with anger and fear. We need a watcher. No one else can talk to souls, Humaire said, and souls are our problem. You're a watcher, right? The watcher. The one who died and lived again, who speaks to the gods. That's the watcher we need. I knew it! I knew Humaire wouldn't have lied. You will help, won't you? Oh, that's fantastic! Thank you! Speak to Humaire at Kazuwari, Watcher. She'll be able to better explain the situation than I am. Kazuwari's a huge island west of Hasango. It's pretty hard to miss, what with the high cliffs and waterfalls. There's one thing you should know. The Faces of the Hunt jealously control who enters and leaves the island. But there's a waterfall on the southern side of the island that will allow you to sneak in, so long as you're circumspect. I guess you should also know. The island's residents might not take too kindly to your presence if you're found. They're, prickly bunch. But I'm sure that won't be a problem for you. They're really not so bad once you get to know them. They're almost nice? Well, no, that's a lie. But Humare's all right. Once we've arrived, I can help you find your way into the heart of the island. You know, if you want me to. I wouldn't want to presume. In the meantime, I'll be here. Well, behind you, really, with the rest of the spirits following you around.
Permission to speak freely? You find yourself in cold, suffocating darkness. There is a familiar weight in your hand. A lantern. It sputters to life, and the world shifts into focus. A staircase spirals endlessly below you. With nowhere else to go, you start down. A wave of blistering heat hits you. Then a sea salt wind. Divine voices boom and screech. Their words shake the platform beneath you, shake the very air around you. The gods are fighting.
Lay your blame elsewhere, Wodika. I won't suffer your arguments any longer.
Mogren looms large before you, an accusing finger leveled at the melted visage of Wodika. Wodika screws her mouth into a sneer.
You fool! If only we had attacked him when I first proposed it.
Accusations drip bitter as bile from her tongue.
You would dare interrupt me?
Wodika extends a hand, looking for a moment like she intends to swat you from the platform. But the pallid knight gives her a long, impassive look, and at last, she jerks her hand away. The pallid knight looks down at you, a frown etched deep in her otherwise statue-still features.
I am afraid we are not at our best.
The Watchers return. Perhaps we should hear what she has to say.
Helia's birds chatter anxiously among themselves. Wal's many eyes alight on each god in turn.
We make little enough progress on our own.
We try, but agreement eludes us.
Andra's storm-dark eyes swivel to meet yours.
Is there nothing we can do?
Mogren glances at the pallid knight from the corner of her eye. After a thoughtful pause, she speaks.
The time has come for us to seize the power we have long left untouched, and absorb our scattered children.
Andra nods, her lure bobbing bright.
Terrible though it would be, perhaps you are right.
I did, and I was scolded like a child for my terrible audacity.
A curl of steam rises from her nose. The pallid knight looks on, impassive.
Should we be killed in our god forms, we can possess you, our godlike children. Or should we face a force too powerful to stand against, we can absorb your souls, granting us additional strength. You, Helia's wayward daughter, Andra's precious son, and thousands of others. Yes, we would all die.
The pallid knight speaks with the chilly temperance possessed only by the god of death.
But the time for that plan has long passed us by.
Are we to keep nothing for ourselves? Not a single secret retained? Not a solitary mystery?
Mogren elbows one of Wal's floating eyes away.
Aethys will lay bare our every secret soon enough. What is one or two revealed now? But we get ahead of ourselves. First, the Watcher must get to Ukaizo, and that will be a trial all its own.
The Guardian of Ukaizo has stood watch over that place for millennia. It will not stand aside, not even for Bareth's herald.
Helia, who had been lost in quiet, anxious conversation with her birds, breaks in.
It yet lives.
Of course. Our progenitors crafted it.
A pair of Helia's finches come to join Wal's floating eye. They hover just out of Mogren's reach and swoop in to poke her when she's not looking.
And the Watcher will be forced to reckon with it if she wishes to confront Aethys.
The birds at last linger too long, and Mogren slaps them away. They burst into a cloud of essence, then reform and fly in a screeching chorus back to Helia.
A creature crafted by the Ingwithans to protect the machinery of reincarnation. It doesn't care much for visitors.
Will you divulge our every secret to the Kith, Mogren?
Mogren shrugs.
If it suits me.
Go prepared, Watcher. The Guardian will not stand aside, not even for the Herald of Bareth. It is not one of Galawain's mindless beasts. It has a heart and a mind, and it will throw neither away to oppose Aethys. And Aethys will not fight the creature. It would prove little more than a distraction for him, especially as my tsunami and Mogren's volcano couldn't stop him. It is its own creature, Watcher. It does not listen to us.
There is another topic we have yet to address.
The Pallid Knight holds up one gauntleted hand, and the other gods fall silent.
Tell me, Watcher, where do you stand? What do you think of Aethys' scheme to destroy the wheel?
Perhaps you misunderstand. This is not a test you will overcome on your own. Aethys intends to change the fundamental structure of life and death. Does that not frighten you? You, Kith, who are most vulnerable?
Aethys loves the mortals more than any of us. He has always been their greatest champion. He believes Kith will rise to his challenge. I am not so sure, but I look forward to watching them try. He found our blind spot and exploited it admirably. By the time we even had a hint of what it was he intended, it was already too late to stop him.
If we still had our bodies, we could oppose him.
Wotica balls her bony hands into fists and glares long at Andra.
Do not lay your blame on me. We set them aside after I killed Abaddon, it is true, but you did not fight the decision then.
She turns her back on Wotica then, and looks instead to the Pallid Knight.
What if Aethys is right, and Kith succeed in rebuilding the wheel? What then?
Mogren nods.
It will be the ultimate trial, for Kith and gods both.
And what if they fail? Then they die. And so do we. We have to help them.
Helia's voice rises, near to panic. Wotica drives her fist into her hand.
Help them! We should finally bring them to heel!
The Pallid Knight raises a hand and stares at Wotica until she falls silent.
Watcher, Aethys yet values your counsel.
The Pallid Knight's eyes bore into yours.
An impassioned plea from the Hound of Aethys may still temper his actions. Confront him at Ukaizo. The future of Kith and the gods rests on your shoulders, Watcher, so I hope that you do.
The Pallid Knight's stern countenance softens.
Time moves swiftly away from us now.
The Pallid Knight spreads her hands before her.
Go, Watcher. Do what you must.
The edges of your vision begin to dim. Like a sun setting, twilight encroaches on your mind. The pallid night conjures a blinding white light in her palm that swiftly grows to engulf the room. Then, the crack of thunder rends the air, and you feel the floor drop out beneath you. You come to flat on your back, staring at an all-too-familiar ceiling. Alone, once again.
I shall make it so. Remain. Death take you.
What do you need?
What can I do you for?
Yours to command, Captain.
Another withers on the vine.
Yes?
You have my attention.
Found it! It usually works. Something I can do? That order's too tall. Hey, watch it with that.
How good, I say?
Tell me. Can't take much more.
These wounds run deep.
You need something?
Try something else.
Yeah? This thing isn't doing the job.
Look, all things must come to an end. Even me.
How may I help?
Second try, I say.
That dog won't hunt. can I do you for? Rebirth awaits me.
Yeah? I'm on it. I need something stronger.
You need something.
Worth and rough.
How good, I say. This is futile. Yes?
Beyond seek.
Speak your mind.
Worth and rough.
Damn it. Olaf still hasn't learned how to take a hit.
Yeah?
Yeah? Yeah?
This thing isn't doing the job.
Damning blast.
Yes? Yes.
Thought we were friends.
Happy to oblige.
What say? Mother Ngati.
Hey.
Very well.
Yours to command, Captain.
Second try, I say.
What can I do you for?
Too slow.
What do you need? I'm on it.
Too slow.
Something I can do? Here we go. This thing isn't doing the job.
Yeah?
Lava be on sync.
It's beyond me.
I'm here. I shall deal with this one.
Yes, Captain.